You don't have to be upset or jealous, but accept it and understand it so that you can navigate through your pole journey and understand what you need, because that is the important thing, your journey, not what everybody else is doing, not, oh, I've been dancing for 2 years, I should be able to do a butterfly. No, get rid of that thought process. There is no timeline for pole dance. There is a Hello, welcome to episode 5 of Pole Dance Rants. I'm Vina, owner of StudioVina.com, a website where you can learn to pole dance right at home with me. Today, I am going to be talking about achieving a trick right away. So this is an interesting topic. And as somebody who teaches online, I run into this question or comment. I guess it's more of a comment a lot. I see it a lot as well on Reddit. People will try a trick and immediately, if they don't get it, they'll say, this is too hard. What can I do to improve it? And they want to know all of these tips, like what tips? What am I missing? Why can't I achieve this move immediately? Well, why are you expecting to achieve the trick immediately is my first question. I don't understand why pole dancers are obsessed with figuring that they can just do a trick instantly. So I play guitar. I'm learning to play guitar. I'm starting on my 3rd year and I'm learning through an app. So yes, you can learn online. And it's something that's very challenging for me. I'm naturally musical, but the guitar is so complex and it's just a whole nother thing. I've played flute, I've played other musical instruments that are woodwind instruments. And I've played a little piano growing up, but the guitar was so intriguing to me because I always wanted to do it, but I felt like I couldn't because it was too hard for me. So even in high school, I had first gotten I think I got a regular guitar first. Didn't go well. So I went to bass guitar because I thought that would be easier and I was going to be a rock star. No, I didn't play either one for very long. So I'm definitely relearning now. And it's like when you learn a new chord, it's not something for the most part that you instantly can do and remember and recall. You have to practice and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until it's automatic. That goes for pole dance. That goes for everything. The other thing, this is going to be kind of ranty. The other thing is that you wouldn't go to an adult figure skating class and assume that you would suddenly be doing, spins and jumps and things like that. Would you? You'd want to make sure that you understand the fundamentals and the basics and you build up your strength and your ability to handle, rotation and dizziness. Why is pole dance different? Like, I don't understand. I feel like perhaps part of the problem is that we have social media now, like Instagram, TikTok, and we have all these people that provide little tips, little tidbits of tips, which make us feel really good. Like, oh, this tip, this is the key. This is what's going to help me finally get this. That's all I'm missing is this little tip. But it's not. You have to practice. I can't. You have to practice. And you have to practice in a way that makes sense. So if you've seen my other rants, or if you're one of my students, you will understand that I don't mean you should practice every day, or I don't mean you should practice that skill until you get it that night or whatever day if it's daytime, morning, whatever. I'm not saying that you need to continuously, go at whatever you're trying to do. No, oftentimes you learn a skill. Okay, I'm watching the teacher. I'm understanding what she's saying. Now I'm trying it myself. just kind of feeling how it goes. And then I'm going to give it no more than 10 times because remember, that's my rule. Don't try anything more than 10 times because once you get past that point, you're just going to cause excessive bruising, more pain, more frustration. Drop it after 10 times. Come back to it, not the next day because you need to rest, but the next day. It's simple. Just keep practicing. For most pole skills, it's just a matter of practice. And it drives me crazy that more people don't say it's a matter of practice, just practice. And that we're so obsessed with, give me the tip, what's the trick? Practice. Oh my God, just practice. The other issue that I have with my website or with putting content like tutorials on YouTube, and all of my beginner tutorials are free on the website. They are listed in order in which you should do them. But people come in and they're like, cool, these are free. And they start jumping around. They don't watch the very first video where it says, watch this first. Or somebody will come in and they're not a beginner, so they skip the watch this first video because they're like, I'm not a beginner. I can just go straight to intermediate or whatever. And then they get confused and they're like, well, how come, I'm going through these individual lessons and why is this here and how come I can't do that yet? And it's because you didn't start at the beginning where you're supposed to start. So when I put a video on YouTube, that's a tutorial, I will say, hey, you're going to get the best information and the best success out of using this video if you go to my website, because then you will see in the descriptions how to start. Most people don't use just the individual tutorials. Most people will go and use a program where everything is laid out for them. So they don't have to guess when to rest. They don't have to guess how to warm up. They don't have to guess about what exercises to work on. It's all planned. The problem comes into play when people try, and this is why I'm always like, don't just use random frickin' videos to learn, because you need to have a plan that makes sense, because otherwise, first of all, you're going to increase your risk of injury by a ton. You're going to end up feeling frustrated. You're probably wasting a ton of time just scrolling, trying to figure out what to work on or what you feel like working on. Because oftentimes, what you feel like working on isn't necessarily what you should be working on if you have a specific goal, like if you're trying to build strength. So if you're one of those people that just jumps around and tries to figure out how to do stuff by watching random videos, that's not the best idea. Not to mention, many well-intended people will post something and say, this is intermediate, when it's so not. It's usually way more difficult. But to them, they're like, it's easy for me. Well, that's great. I'm glad it's easy for you, but let's label things appropriately. So there's no, it's very random how people label things. And I'm definitely not saying that I am the only online instructor you can use, because there are others out there and there are other programs. Use them. You don't have to only work with me. The more teachers you can work with, the better, because we all have different skills and we all have different styles of teaching, which is why I offer a 3-day free trial so you can see if I'm a good fit. Not to mention there's more than one way to learn on my website, which is something that people sometimes neglect, learning about. So back to the issue of, okay, I'm being taught this trick. Let's go with the butterfly. So say you're working on the butterfly, you've tried it once in your class, and you're like, okay, it didn't happen. I felt scared. I felt like I was going to fall over. The teacher was holding me. If the teacher was holding you, that's not spotting. That's a whole nother rant. Spotting is not putting someone in place or holding them up. That is not spotting. If a person is doing something that is within their limit, they will not need you to physically move them or hold them up. Spotting is there as precautionary, just in case. Anyway, so you're doing your butterfly, or you're trying, you can't get it, you've done it like, I don't know, until you're just shaking and you can't possibly do anymore. You go home, you get online, you're like, all right, I tried to do butterfly, you're typing on Instagram or Reddit, and I just can't get it. Give me tips. What am I missing? Practice. You're missing practice. You may also be missing building blocks, foundational moves to get you to the point where you can do the butterfly. For example, before you do a butterfly, you should be able to do a pole hold. If you don't know what that is, down below I will have a link for you what a pole hold is. It's a fundamental move that I came up with. It's super important. So you need to be able to do a pole hold with both feet off the ground. You need to be able to do an upright performance climb. You also should be able to do a inverted, so it's a performance climb inverted. It's called a caterpillar. If you do not have these skills down, then your butterfly, some people do it from Gemini as well. I teach it from Gemini and from caterpillar climb. But I feel caterpillar climb sets you up for success a little bit better. But anyway, if you don't have those building blocks, if they're not secure, if you can't do a crucifix and a caterpillar, how can you expect to get yourself into the correct position to hold a butterfly? You could muscle it. So some people who are naturally strong, or they've been in fitness before or sports, or they're a guy, yes, a lot of them can do things like butterflies, iron X, handsprings, like that, no problem. They have more muscle mass. But even so, when somebody comes to me who is already fit, I still require them or suggest that they go through the building blocks and know the progression in which to learn your tricks so that you build a strong foundation. My whole thing on Studio Vina was built on building a strong foundation. That is the Vina method, because there's only a handful of pole skills that you need to unlock all the others, because almost everything is a variation of a handful of pole skills. So if you understand that, you make life a heck of a lot easier for yourself. So before you go away from class and feel discouraged and feel like you're the only one that can't do it, like maybe everybody else was busting out butterflies and you couldn't do it, well, first understand that a lot of people who are able to do things immediately may have a bit of an advantage of they believe they can do it. So they don't have that fear of, I don't know, or I don't trust my teacher, or I don't know. So if there's any doubt when you're learning or working on a trick and you're really focused on, I don't think I can do this, I'm scared, I don't know, that's what's going to happen. It's going to take you longer. It's not an easy thought process to stop, but I have a rant on that. So think about it. Okay, everybody got their butterfly except for you. Don't go home and start writing on all the social platforms, give me tips, help me. Practice it. Make sure, give yourself a month. So if you're coming in to pole dance without any background in fitness, without having a background in sports or gymnastics, anything like that, you are starting from zero. This means And if you are a person who, there are people that naturally catch on to physical things very quickly, and they may be different things. Like some people are really good at like darts and precision, like pool, darts, bowling. I terrible at darts, terrible at bowling, terrible at pooling. But give me a physical skill that uses my entire body. That is my strong point. So you have to understand what type of learner you are before you get frustrated with yourself or with your teacher or, the tutorial you are watching. So understand what kind of learning you require and what kind of physical person you are. Are you somebody who learning to roller skate or ice skate or something like ski took a long time? It is going to take you a longer time to nail these different tricks than somebody who gets these things naturally. That's the way it is. You don't have to be upset or jealous, but accept it and understand it so that you can navigate through your pole journey and understand what you need, because that is the important thing, your journey, not what everybody else is doing. Not, oh, I've been dancing for 2 years, I should be able to do a butterfly. No, get rid of that thought process. There is no timeline for pole dance. There is a building block structure, but there's no timeline out there that says if you don't get to a butterfly in 6 months of pole dancing, just give up and quit. Why are you pole dancing? It's fun. It's a great workout. You can meet new friends if you go to a studio. You can connect with your body. It's great for building strength. If you do the dance aspect, it's great cardio. It's great for your flexibility. It is, I think, the best, most well-rounded workout if you choose to use it that way. And that's another thing. If you are somebody who's just focused on tricks and tricks and tricks, you're probably going to hit a point, if you're not naturally skilled, you're going to plateau and you're going to get frustrated if tricks and learning new tricks are your only goal. There's so much more to pole dance than tricks. There's flow, there's understanding how your body moves, so there's connection with your body. There's a meditative aspect of when you do learn a routine or start to freestyle, you can let everything go and you're just focusing on pole. So if you're somebody who's like, I can never freestyle, I get it. Like that is something, again, I've been playing guitar now for 3 years. I am not great at just like playing whatever I want on the guitar. Like I can do that with other instruments, but not the guitar, and not at this point. I'm close, but I still need somebody to tell me you need to play a G, a C, an A, Like it's not, I haven't practiced enough freestyle, to be able to do that on my own. So again, it's practice. And if you don't do it more than once a month, you're not going to be great at freestyling. So in conclusion, because I feel like I could talk for an hour about this, when it comes to achieving a trick, let's look at it this way. First, understand what kind of learner, how you learn, okay? Because I mentioned that before. So if you are the type of person that learns physical skills really quickly, write that down. If you are the type of person that takes quite a while to learn a physical skill, write that down. Maybe you're the type of person that can learn a skill quickly in private, but you get stressed out and this is me. If you're in front of people and you're being taught something, everything just sounds like blah, like muddled, whatever, and I should say this used to be me, and it's just anxiety ridden, and all you hear is nothing because you're so anxious that you have to learn this in front of other people. Write that down. This might mean that you either need to push yourself to go to a physical pole class, or you need to go ahead and learn at home because you can do it safely. And part of doing it safely is understanding your own body. So if you're the person who is slower at learning, there's nothing wrong with that. But what you need to know is understand it. And then if you're the slower learner, you need to anticipate that any trick, I don't care what it is, I don't care if it's a pole sit, I don't care if it's, let's see, what else? Let's do a layback or something. It might take you a month. It might take you 3 months, depending on how often you practice. But remember, we are not practicing this skill every single day or every single pole session. We need to give our muscles and the contact areas rest from the pole so you don't end up with crazy bruises and really, you don't become very sore. So I'm telling you, it's okay if a trick takes you more than 2 or 3 sessions. If you're getting tricks down right away, that's incredible. You have a natural affinity for pole. That's amazing. But understand, that's not most people's reality, especially people who learn at home. I've found a lot of my students go very slowly at their own pace because they have busy lives. So they'll stay and go through beginner level 1, 2, 3 multiple times because they have busy lives, and so they need to keep coming back. But they know that they can and that it's there for them and that it will provide them not only a good workout, but the progression they need if they're able to keep going and maintain. So another thing, if you fall into the end of the type of person who learns very slowly, working on mind-body connection can really speed up the learning process for you. Because a lot of times people who are able to catch on to things really quickly are hypersensitive of their body. Me, I'm like, oh my God, what's that? Taking my, checking my pulse and stuff. You might even be a bit of a hypochondriac. That was my mom. So you feel like you feel everything and you notice everything. So it can be a good thing, but also kind of a crazy, annoying thing. You may be somebody who doesn't hardly notice. Like you might whack your arm and not even hardly feel anything. And then the next day you're like, wow, that's a huge bruise. Or you might not notice how stressed out you are until you have a blindingly raging headache. But there's always clues. Your body talks to you all the time. So doing a body scan meditation can be a good thing for that. And just go in a search on YouTube, body scan meditation. There's all kinds of them. Working on that aspect can then help you connect more with your body so things don't seem so strange and foreign when you're asked to use your body in these different ways, because a lot of people are way out of connection with their physical bodies. So it's just a very helpful, beneficial practice. Let's see, do I have anything else? I didn't even make notes on this one because I don't know, it's something that just drives me crazy. People come on and they'll say, oh, I can't get this immediately. What am I doing wrong? Probably nothing. Yeah, a lot of times they'll assume that something is horribly wrong. It just looks like you need practice. Occasionally it might be, scoot your arm down a tiny bit or lift your arm up or little small tweaks, but usually Most often, the reason you didn't get the trick right away is you need to practice. It's not magic. So as always, if you enjoyed this rant, if it was helpful, please like it and share it. Leave a comment. All of these things help with my YouTube channel. And I will see you guys again next week. All right, stay safe, everyone, and connect with your body and understand, guess what? Practice is the key.